and welcome to Thrive Thursday. I'm Lori, and I am here with Jen and Judy. Judy is the author of The Most Important Coaching Skill You Can Practice to Make Life Better. And what would that skill be, Judy?
So as I was thinking about what I should put for the title of this article, it really came back to me that presence is a really, really critical skill that I use in coaching and that we use in coaching and that we teach in coaching. So we have a class called our Human Influencer Training class, and one of the modules that we have in that class is titled Presence. We do a deep dive into presence and how all the different aspects of it and how you use that to be a more positive and impactful influencer. And so as I was running the other day, I came to the awareness that this practice of running that I was doing was really a practice in presence, because I was so outwardly focused on some things and I could feel my body just being like, dragging through the run. And so all of a sudden I realized it and decided to bring it back to me and to pay attention to some different things. And as soon as I got back into presence, into the moment of what I was actually experiencing, which was, the music in my ears or the audible book that I would be listening to, or like just my actual feet hitting the pavement, I was able to stay in the space of the actual moment that I was in instead of thinking about where I was going to be or how far I had to go. And doing that allowed me to actually go even farther because I didn't carry the heavy weight of that long distance. And so because of that, I decided to write the article. Mm-hmm. And knowing that it's such a valuable skill and using running as a way that I can actually practice this when I'm not just coaching was kind of super cool for me to be able to share that with people, that this practice of presence that we do with our clients and help our clients with, but more importantly, we as coaches have to practice. It just all flowed from there. Like, okay, how can I help people understand coaching is so much about how you're navigating your focus and your energy, and then helping the client understand and navigate and focus theirs.
So what are some techniques you use for doing that? Because I know oftentimes people are like, well, I try to stay present, and then my mind wanders, and I can't, and it's really hard for me to do it. What do you do to stay present?
So I think the first thing that is important to understand is what is presence for you. So for me, presence is energy and focus. And what I know about energy is that my energy comes from my human internal operating system. So my thoughts, my behaviors, my desires, my beliefs, all of the components of our human internal operating system, and what are they doing and what's playing on with them. So for instance, in the running scenario, it was my thoughts were pulling me out, my emotions were pulling me out into this other space. And so being able to pull back into presence was just my ability to release those and not pay attention to those. So I shifted my focus to something different that allowed me to release the heaviness of the emotions. But that's just one way I do it. Mm-hmm. When we're in a coaching session, well, first of all, actually, some of it is just proactiveness. I do have a meditation practice, so that gives me the ability to just constantly be able to do that throughout the day rather than just in different mm-hmm. scenarios and different times. So that's a good start to explain it. But as I talk about the coaching sessions, there's a little bit of a dance that we talk about mm-hmm. in a coaching mm-hmm. session where I have to understand what's going on in my energy, and I can do that by paying attention. It starts with self-awareness. How do I pay attention to what I'm thinking? How do I make sure that I'm allowing space for my client to understand and be aware of what they're thinking and what their emotions are, and be responsible for those. So it's not attaching to somebody else, it's allowing them the space. Mm-hmm. And then that gives me the ability to bring it back to me and just really, really be aware of what it is that I'm experiencing right now in the moment.
Cool. And how about you, Jen? Is there something you do to stay present?
I wrap them in beautiful paper and put bows on them. Well, I wasn't sure what being present meant before I started doing this work. And what's come to me, and it came through one of my classmates at the time when I was going through coaching, coach skills training, is be where your feet are. And what that allows me to do, I don't run. I don't run. But what that reminds me to do is to come back to myself, exactly where I'm at in the moment. And that's not ignoring what's happened in the past or not ignoring what could happen in the future, but knowing that the most important thing to do for myself in the moment is to be where my feet are and just be myself there. And that's how I practice presence, especially in a coaching scenario.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting because I oftentimes find myself going into my senses. Like if something's really distracting me, I like try to feel my hand, or I do something that grounds me in this particular moment. Or if I have paper, I try to feel the paper, and that at least brings my attention back to my space, and then I can proceed from there. But I always have to go into, or a smell. I try to go into one of my 5 senses to kind of ground me in this moment, and then it's easier for me to engage back in what's going on in my moment.
One of the things that came up in our office today, Jen, you brought up, is that, the thought of presence a lot of times for people is that belief then that they can't move forward or they can't move towards their desire. Right. So what's your thought about that?
I'm going to edit this and say, I don't think that's true at all. Instead of what I thought in my head when I read this specific sentence. I believe that what presence allows me to do and what it can allow others to do is to strengthen themselves for their best future self.
Beautiful.
Not hold themselves back, or as this writer put it, be the most self-destructive you can be to yourself by being present in the moment, but just strengthen yourself in the moment so that you can then move forward to the future and be your best self there.
Yeah, I love that, because presence for me is about observing what actually is and experiencing what actually is in live time. And experiencing what is in live time gives me the ability to navigate that so that I can move forward. And oftentimes when I'm so far outwardly focused, I don't have the ability to navigate what's going on or understand what's keeping me from getting to where I want to be.
And what I heard in that too was that it keeps you from creating unnecessary stories.
Yes.
So that you can be in your reality.
Because that's what we do, especially if we're going to do something challenging or, take a new job or whatever it is. We start projecting all the, might happens or could happens, and we get so stuck in that it actually prevents us from moving in that direction. And so being present enables us to look at what's going on right now and not projecting all these scenarios that may or may not come to fruition.
And what I love about in your article, Judy, is that you, again, I don't run, but the actual practice of running and how you're able to perform at your best when you are present, and that you can go for longer distances and allow yourself to fully experience that and get what you need to out of the practice, but not fully exhaust yourself, which is a beautiful thing to practice in all of your life.
Yeah, and it doesn't negate the fact that I'm moving towards something. Right. It doesn't negate my ability to stay in presence and to stay present with what's happening in the now. Doesn't negate the fact that I'm moving towards something. And I think that that's a really cool understanding, because like I said, I do meditation practice. I practice every day. And I believe that practice, and you see lots of leaders in organizations do meditation practice because it gives them the ability to move forward towards their vision. So it's a really cool awareness that I got to experience, and I'm really glad that we're able to talk about it for everybody.
Cool. So just wrapping this up, what is one more thing that presence does for you?
Yeah, so that's the why does it make my life better?
Right.
For me, it makes my life better because I'm actually able to experience what I want to experience. And it also gives me the ability to move to where the other things that I want to experience in life. So that's why my life gets better. I get to be better at what I'm doing currently, and I get to be better at moving towards what it is that I want to experience in the future.
Nice. How about you, Jen?
Judy said it beautifully. I'm gonna go with that.
Awesome.
And I know what it does for me is it lets me look at things, and it brings information into me that I wouldn't normally get.
Yeah.
Because if I'm too focused on what to say next or what to do next or what I said or what I did, I miss out on the information that's coming through for me now. So I find for me that presence, it's like an enlightening state for me.
Mhm.
Like I don't have to know everything. I don't have to be looking everywhere. I can just be present and know that what I need will come to me in that moment.
Yeah. Cool.
Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing this with us.
You're welcome.
And we hope you enjoyed our Thrive Thursday. If you like this discussion and this topic, this is what we do. We're very good at it and we love doing it. You can find out more about us on thrivehdc.com. We have a couple classes starting up next week. Our Human Progress Training class. It's an intro class to a lot of really cool things that we have that go into conscious navigation, self-awareness, confidence, a lot of stuff for just making you more powerful and becoming the best version of yourself in life. We also have our Human Influencer Training coming up. It's a second level of our Human Progress Training, both starting next week. Again, that information is on thrivehdc.com. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, ladies.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lori.
Bye.
Bye.